Welcome everyone to the first global talk of the Globant Career Month. Throughout May, we will be hosting different talks, debates, and workshops, both in English and Spanish. We believe these talks can help you grow your career in tech. In this talk, we will be speaking to two different leaders at Globant, one coming from the technical side and one coming from the delivery side. They will help us understand the secret sauce of becoming a successful leader at Globant. We will be talking with Natalia Amarillo from the Agile Delivery Studio and Ulises Enrico as a VP of Technology for the Digital Experience and Scalable Platforms at Globant. Welcome, Nati and Ulises, to this talk. So let me start by asking you if you can make like a brief presentation of your career and path at Globant. And let me add one more topic to that, which is, do you remember if during that path at Globant, there was a moment in where you needed to decide to move to to follow a path to become a leader? And what was one of the things that, drove you to that?
Thank you, Alice, and thank you, Uli, for joining me today. I'm very happy to be here, and thanks everyone that's tuning in to listen to us. So, as I was said, my name is Natalia Amarillo. I've been working in Globant for the past 10 years. I'm originally from Argentina, but I'm now based in Mexico. In these 10 years in Globant, I have learned a lot of new things, and I have grown a lot. I started my career as a project manager. For me, it was very exciting because I started to lead teams globally. In the past, I was mainly working with global teams, so that was very different, but also very exciting. I was leading different teams and leading different projects, and then in 2015, I took a position as a delivery manager, and then in 2010 as a delivery director, always with new challenges and growing as Growan was growing also. And then 2 years ago, I took the role of studio partner, which is a global position here based out of Mexico. So it also really impacted my daily life because I also had the opportunity to, move to a different country, experience different cultures, and get to understand what the different challenges that we were having on different countries and different teams. So that's kind of my history in the company.
Quite a journey, Nati. Congrats.
Okay. Well, thank you for the invitation, and thank you, Agus and Nati, for the introduction. I joined Globant as a senior backend developer in 2010. It wasn't an easy decision for me at that moment. However, a friend who was already part of Globant convinced me to jump in. Several projects and many challenges later gave me the opportunity to lead my first project. After a few years on that role, I'm working on different studios and many battles. I was promoted to tech director. Now I'm leading two great studios as VP of technology. And the main drivers that helped me to move from a technical profile to a leadership position were my willingness to work towards team building and trying to aim for excellence, as well as the strong commitment needed between tech and business in order to work in the strategy around a solution.
Nice. And I see as well that in your storytelling, you're also combining, part of our values, right? So
Yeah,
great introduction. So let's go and I have a couple of questions to ask you today. So let's start for the first one, which is we are all, aware and we are all living in this context with a high talent, market volatility. So what are the challenges that you're seeing as a leader, and especially in the tech area, right? I don't want to point anyone out, but let's start with ladies first. So Nati, if you want to take this one.
So it certainly has been, the last few years have been very challenging indeed. I think part of it is understanding the global context, right? Really, as a company, we are very what we call global centric. We care about how our globers are feeling, and it's important to understand really what's going through in their lives. Especially specifically taking into account this high talent volatility, I think that one of the challenges that I've seen in the past few years is the rapid growth that we've had. So last year, as a company, I think that we grew 62% year over year, which is amazing. But it also meant onboarding a lot of new people, and not only, of course, that we hired the most talented people, but having them understand what our values are, how we work, how we communicate, and really for them being leaders with our values. I think this is going to be is one of the things that has been a challenge because of how many people we've had to onboard, right? So when I took the position as the studio partner for Agile Delivery Studio back in 2019, we were 800 Globers in the studio. Now we are 1,700.
Wow.
So that basically doubled. And it, it was definitely challenging, but at the same time, we have many key people within our studio that is helping us, because it's not possible for one or two partners to do it, right? So I think that it was also where we showed our team player culture, that we are always there for each other to help us out. And whenever someone new is joining, we assign a buddy to that person that helps them in their first couple of months, so that they know who they can ask questions and how to manage different situations. So I think that's something that we've gone through across the company in the last 2 years.
That's amazing. Yeah. And I can tell you from a people side as well, helping everyone, and getting, onboarding all of those new Glovers coming in. So yeah, and it's a huge milestone, Nati.
Mm-hmm.
Well, as Nati mentioned, the IT market is in an awesome moment right now. There is a lot of opportunities out there. And now more than ever, every leader should put an eye on keeping their team engaged, and need to be a step ahead in order to identify situations that may affect not only the quality or the delivery of the project, but also the team's mood. So that is one of the things that we need to think about and we need to pay attention.
Yeah.
Also,
True.
I think that from what you're saying, Olu, something that has really changed is that in the past we were in the office with our teams, and you could really tell when someone was going through something. You could tell in their face, and you could say, "Hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. Let's talk about this." But now, meeting through Zoom, meeting through different video calls every day, you really need to look for that time. You really need to put it in your calendar, ensure that you're having those meaningful conversations, and that you're leaving some time in your calendar for that, as sometimes it isn't as easy to detect this type of situations.
Yeah, that is true. And we're gonna be talking about meaningful conversations in one of the next questions that I also have here. So here, leaving books aside, in your own words, what do you think are the, what differentiates, leading a technology project from any other project? I don't want, the formal response to that. In your own words, what do you feel about that? Which ones do you think are the differences?
Well, I can take that. Usually, AU's projects in the traditional industries are stable. I mean, they don't have too many changes when after they are defined. And that is totally different in IT, where the scopes changes sometimes every other sprint. So you need to be mentally prepared and have an open mind to those changes. I think that is one important thing. Another one is about the innovation. But go ahead, Nati.
No, I was going to say exactly that. So I think that we need to understand that. Let's say that you're building a house, like a traditional project. I mean, there are many things that are going to be stable and that are going to be the same for the last 50 years, even though maybe some trends are going to be changing. In technology, everything changes very soon. So you need to have a lot of flexibility to adapt to those changes. Resilience also, because you're going to have roadblocks. There are going to be risks that you don't foresee. And you need to ensure that you move on from them and look for a solution as soon as possible. But understand that those things are going to happen because they are very complex. I mean, so we have projects that have more than 200, 300, 500 people working. So these are highly complex projects. And in the middle of this rapid scenario changing, you also need to allow for innovation and for time for experimentation, right? Because sometimes we are going to have a problem that we don't know how to fix. You have to deal with this uncertainty and look for a space where the people and the team feels that they can experiment so that they can look for the best possible solution.
Yeah, and let me add one more thing there.
Mm-hmm.
Another fascinating thing that is in this industry is that a problem may maybe have multiple solutions. So that keeps you motivated. I mean, from the technical side, it's very motivated, be challenged for this kind of situations.
Yeah. Aligned to what we were discussing, right? So, in your opinion as well, what could be, or which ones are the 3 critical skills for a leader in the tech industry? And do you see that there is any correlation between leadership, diversity, and inclusion?
Okay, I can take that one. So leadership is something that really drives Globant because we are, like I mentioned, we care a lot about our Globers. So I think that some of the critical skills, first of all, would be to be a people-oriented person, right? To ensure that we don't have a successful project without the people involved in it. So we need to ensure that we are empathetic, that we are people-oriented, that we have this team player attitude to understand how to make this group of people work as a team towards achieving a goal. The second thing it would be a mix of resilience and flexibility. Flexibility to adapt to all of the changes that you're going to have, and resilience to overcome the challenges that you are going to face. Because for sure, if you are in the tech industry, you are going to have challenges, you are going to have problems. So you need to ensure that you embrace them and see them as an opportunity. In terms of what you're saying about having this diversity and inclusion, this is part of our core values. And I think that working in this company, I've had the opportunity of traveling to many different countries, working with customers that are in very different locations. So for us, we need to embrace this and ensure that we are hearing everyone's voices, right? And also try to overcome our biases, be conscious that we are going to have them because it's inherent in being a human being, basically, but also understanding that we need to empower the team, a global team, and really listen to everyone's points of view. As a woman working in technology, I've seen many changes in this 10 years that I've been working in Globant. In the past, in some meetings, it was me and maybe 20 and 30 men. And now I've seen that the company is making lots of changes to have spaces for us women to share our experience. We have mentoring programs for other women, and this is something that to me it really motivates me because this is what I would have wanted to have when I joined the company, and I'm really happy that the people that are joining now can benefit from these programs that really are changing the way that we are working. But it really is on us as leaders to make this change, right? It doesn't make any sense for a company to put some programs and then us not adopting them. So I think that as leaders, we need to be the ones that bring this change to our teams.
Yeah. And also, if I can add to that, sorry, Uli, and I'm just going to let you continue with this. Also, remembering that we also lead together, multidisciplinary teams with people from, many different countries. Everyone is unique. There is a diverse culture everywhere. So we don't need to, we cannot forget about that, right? Globant has presence in more than 15 countries. So it's like you can be working in a pod with multiple, disciplines and multiple cultures, right? So being diverse and also making sure that everyone feels inclusive in that team, it's, as you were saying, that it's one of our, pillars, and it's part of our DNA, let's say, and culture as well. So I didn't want to interrupt. The questions are for you guys, but I felt that, it's my role again.
Yeah,
I need to also share this.
I totally agree with you. From my point of view, there is more than three skills that a leader should have, right? In the first place, I can mention the obvious one from the tech side, that is the leader should have technical skill, right? Because it's the basics.
Right.
However, in my opinion, it shouldn't be their strongest suit. So apart from the first one, leaders should be able to empower their teams. So team building is another one, important one that you mentioned in somehow, right? And as you know, each team member is unique. So you need to identify what is their individual talent. I think it's something that you mentioned, Agus, and you mentioned as well, Nati. So from my point of view, you should also include communication strategy and creative thinking, because they are also the foundation of every leader.
Perfect.
Also, to add to what Uli is saying, another one of our pillars is autonomy, right? So what Uli was saying is empowering our teams really is how we work on a day-to-day basis. I mean, we avoid always to micromanage our teams, and we trust that our pods, our teams are the best ones to determine what their goals should be and how to achieve them. And this is something that I've seen some challenges in, especially new leaders coming to the company, because I think sometimes it could be disruptive, right? I mean, many people that come from other companies have this mindset. Okay, I am the boss. I need to be. I need to know everything. Every decision needs to come through me. And to us, that's a really a red flag, right? Because that's not
Right.
how we work. We need to empower our teams and give them the autonomy so that they can really excel at what they do.
I couldn't agree more. Agree more with what you just said, Nati. So I mentioned that we were going to be going to, our culture of, continuous feedback. So you all know, and I'm saying this to the audience that is watching and hearing us, at Globant, we promote a culture of continuous feedback, and between everyone here, it's part of what we call our secret sauce of our culture, right? So do you remember having a meaningful conversation with a leader that you want to share with us? A brief story of a conversation you had in the past that was very meaningful for you and help you as well in this path of becoming a leader?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in my 12 years at Globant, I had opportunity to work with great and inspirational leaders. Each of them gave me many hints to keep developing my career. One that marked me at the very beginning of my journey as a leader was when I got placed as a head of a very challenging client. That leader said to me, Yuli, maybe you think this is beyond your expertise. However, I believe you have the skills and the talent to succeed on this endeavor. And don't worry, I'm here to support you. So if you have any question or if you have any advice, just ping me. And Agus, a message like that is amazing because it grants you an extra support. I mean, you can fail, of course, that is part of the learning process. But knowing your leader is there for you, it's much easier. I think that is amazing.
That is great. Someone empowering you and knowing that, as you were saying, you can fail, right? But I will be, backing you up in what you're doing, and you're together in that learning path. That's great. I'm happy you had the chance to have a conversation like that with a leader.
Yeah, and another interesting point there is that I think you already mentioned. At Globant, we have a 360 feedback culture. We foster our Globers to have those conversations. And in particular, I believe that empathy and emotional intelligence is the key to succeed on that. So that is another interesting thing to mention.
Yeah. How about you, Nati? Any story you remember? I mean, it's been,
Well,
how long was it? 12 years? Or 12 is
in my
Uli?
case, 10 and
10.
Uli 12. So For me particularly, I mean, when I joined Globant, I was already a leader. Like all of the project managers in Globant are already leaders. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I've had many inspiring leaders also in my career, but I can recall two conversations that really made an impact with me. So one was my actually my first leader in Globant. She continues to be a delivery director here, and well, I was she told me she wanted to assign a project to me, and I felt that it was above my pay grade, honestly. I mean, this is a huge project, a huge budget associated and many people. So I was like, no, I don't think I can do it. And she said, yes, you can. I know that you can. I'm not giving you this project as a favor. I know you're strong. And she actually pointed into different conflicts that I dealt with, different problems, and how I solved them, and what the skills that I had shown in those situations, and how I would be able to succeed. And she told me, what is the worst thing that can happen? uh, if you're gonna need help, we are gonna be here with you. You're not going to be alone. You're gonna be working with this very successful technical manager. Also, we're building an amazing team, so you're not gonna be alone. So that gave me reassurance in the fact that I was kind of seeing myself like more junior than I was, or I was perceived by her that was my leader.
Mm-hmm.
And the second conversation was, as Uli mentioned, in Global we have a 360 approach for feedback, and it was a feedback that one of my team members gave me. I really appreciate this type of feedback that your team gives you, because your manager might have a point of view, your customer might have a point of view, but as a leader, really we are here to serve our team. And he told me, look, you're amazing. You're great. I love working with you. You've gave me these opportunities for growth. But I think that you are kinder to the team than you are with yourself. You're always there for us, but you never say no. And sometimes you need to say no to us, because you need to have a balance, and you cannot. You need to allow us to fail. And that to me, really made me thinking. I was like, at that time I was very stressed. I was working a lot of hours, and the fact that he told me this really allowed me to see, okay, maybe these things I can delegate. I have a really talented team, so why not give them some opportunities for them to take some additional responsibilities, and this way they will grow, and I don't have such a heavy burden on myself, because I wasn't seeing that.
Right.
So I really valued that. And sometimes it's hard to tell your boss, hey, you need to work on this. But I really, many years later, I still sometimes think, okay, I need to be kinder to myself.
Which this was not prepared, but you're you're bringing up a topic which is very nice, which is in two lines, right? We do have one of our be kind pillars, which is be kind to yourself. So have you think this week, if have you been I don't know, making any pause during your day? Have you been taking time to have lunch, to meditate, to whatever you need, so that you put your mind somewhere else and you start by yourself, being nice to yourself? So that is totally aligned to one of our four pillars. We are not today to talk about our four pillars of be kind, but I invite everyone hearing this and watching this call to go into our site. You can learn a lot of our Be Kind initiative and each of the four pillars, especially the Be Kind to yourself, which is one of the things that Nati was referring to. Thanks both for sharing your stories. And now we just mentioned, right? So we have 12 and 10 years. So and hopefully we have a big audience here willing, to start working with us and learn more from Globant. What would be, some advice, or what would you like to share with them, to the people, watching and listening us today?
So maybe I can start with this. So I think that Globant is a really good company to develop your skills. I mean, if you haven't had the experience of leading teams in the past,
Mm-hmm.
or if you're like myself, that I always work with certain teams in a certain scenario, I think that Globant is a really good company to develop these skills. I know for sure from my own experience that I have learned a lot. You come across different projects with different complexity, working with different teams in a very fast-paced environment. So it's like I think that a year in Globant is like 5 years in another company, because you really come across a lot of different things. And also we have some really cool programs to develop your leadership skills. I know for a fact that I've learned a lot. And also it's a good environment to fail and experiment, because we are very agile. So this is something I am very detail oriented. I want everything to be perfect, and that sometimes is a problem, because it really doesn't allow me to try new things, because they are not as safe, and I like to be in a safe environment. But I think that in Global, I have learned a lot about taking new challenges, taking risks, and learning even from my mistakes. So that's one thing that I think is good. And then in terms of what advice, I think the advice is to trust yourself. I mean, I see it in myself, and I see in some other teams that sometimes you feel that you're not up to the challenge. You say, no, but I'm not ready to be a leader. This other person knows a lot more. And how can I really be uh, up to what the project needs? Or I'm not going to be good enough. And
Yeah.
trust yourself. If you don't trust
Mm-hmm.
yourself, no one else will. And we all started by being junior, right? Nobody was
Mm-hmm.
born being a technical director or a VP or a delivery director. So little by little, take new challenges and trust yourself.
Perfect. Uli?
That's awesome, Nati. Well, uh, let, let me share this particular personal story. The first time that I heard one of the founder in person here at the office, he said, "We want to be the best IT company in the world," and I strongly believe that we are in the process. We are in the right path. Uh, Here we are part of a great team of professionals. Also, this is supported by an open door policies. This is so motivating because if you need to, you can reach every single person, no matter what seniority or position that person has.
Mm-hmm.
So that is great. Another important thing to mention is we use top-notch technologies and we work with world-class clients. And just for closing, you need to keep in mind that reinvention moves the world forward. And that's what we do best. We help organizations to reinvent themselves through technology and digital and cognitive transformation. So I think that is important.
Perfect. Thank you both for sharing that story. Um, I want to thank you again for being here. Just want to do one last, I know that I mentioned this in the introduction, but just in case anyone wants to, search your names in LinkedIn and want to connect, Natalia Amarillo is a studio partner for the Agile Delivery Studio. Ulises is a VP of technology for digital experience and scalable platforms at Globant. Ulises Enrico and Natalia Amarillo, if you want to find them in LinkedIn. My name is Agustin Alberto. I'm the people director for the US. And I think we can say we are the three of us in different countries right now, right? So
Yeah.
Nati, you said you're in Mexico.
Yes.
Ulises, you're in Argentina.
In Argentina, yeah.
I'm in US. So again, multiple teams working from everywhere. So again, I just want to thank everyone, especially you too, because you not only you share your knowledge, but you also share stories on your own of your personal stories at Globant. And for the ones watching us, stay tuned. Hopefully, this was as interesting as it was for me as well. I learned from you both as well. Stay tuned. We're gonna be having more talks. As I mentioned, this is part, and this was the first talk of the Globant Career Month. So stay tuned for more talks, more invites. We're gonna be posting everything in our social media, in LinkedIn, Instagram, and Twitter as well. So thank you again. Hope to see you soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.